Howdy folks, today's soap is brought to us from Stirling. This one here is grapefruit with menthol, and menthol not glacial. So in other words, it does have menthol in it, but it's not glacial. In other words, it's not over the top, but it is present. And per my nose, the grapefruit is what takes precedent in the scent. In other words, I don't pick up the menthol first, I pick up the grapefruit. But this what it looks like here. And this particular one is the 3-ounce variety that sometimes you can find. I do like the 3-ounce variety, as well as when it comes to the 2-ounce size on the aftershave. Just when it comes to storage and whatnot, it takes up less room. Of course, they're cheaper, and you spread your dollars out more and get more scents, if you will. But for me, I do like that setup. I've got it whipped up here in a fine accoutrements lathering bowl, and it is on the wet side. You can kind of see it's moving there pretty quick. Got it whipped up here with a Ever Ready brush from the Heritage Collection, and that's what it looks like there on the bottom. This one here is pretty cool. I like it. It's got a synthetic knot, and you can kind of see it's not exactly drippy, but it is wet, and so it should rinse pretty easy, provide plenty of slickness. Not that I ever have a problem with Stirling soaps of doing such a thing. I'll have to try to remember, make sure I got Gino's YouTube site listed down below, one of the links. He kind of got me inspired probably over a week ago when I saw the video. Anyhow, what he was doing is he was going through his adjustable razors and talking about his experience with them. And I have been working towards this setup for a while. And what I'm talking about is that I got very lucky, and this particular razor here is a Merkur Progress. This is the long handle, and this one here weighs, oh yes, it weighs at 4 ounces, and it's just over 4 inches in length, 4.15 inches in length. And yeah, you can kind of see the dot there, and I've got it set on number 5, and that's what I plan on using. And the blade of choice today, I'm going to go ahead and go with Jim Coe's, I guess you might say favorite blade, perhaps, the black Gillette 7 o'clock Super Platinum. Yeah, there we go. In other words, there's what, 3 or 4 different versions of 7 o'clocks. But anyhow, one of the things I was wanting to point out is, first of all, pasture shaving, in other words, the pharmacy. I go there every so often, probably fairly frequently, and I usually make a stop at their sale site out there on the website, and I found this one here on sale for $35.99, and it was, the reason why it was marked down because it didn't have a box, and I was perfectly fine not having the box. To get this at $35.99, it was like a no-brainer. This has been on my list, but kind of further on the list in that I wanted it at a particular price, and usually these particular shavers will run right around $70 to $80 or so dollars. In other words, usually everyday price, you might say. And for me, that was a bit steep. I was not, in other words, on my to get list, it was not high enough to pay that price. That's how my list works. Anyway, but when I saw that this one here was $35.99, I have never seen one that inexpensive. And so I jumped on it, and it's been one of those things I thought it makes it easier when you look at the Parker variant. This one here weighs at 4 ounces, and it's also 4 inches in length. But sometimes when you throw those things out there, sometimes some folks have a hard time visualizing that sort of thing. So to have the visual right there, you can kind of see that the Progress, it is just a touch longer with that plastic knob, but they look very similar. An awful lot alike. You can see the differences, the similarities in the head, but the rest of it, when things change. And also, as it goes for the graduation down here, they're also numbered the same. So in other words, 1, and then you've got like 1.5, then 2. That's what the mark in between the numbers are, is like the halfway mark. And they're designed a lot alike in that aspect. And both of them, they weigh the same, at least per the websites that I was looking at. And there is one thing, if you look for the short handle version at Bull Goose, there's one that I really do look at an awful lot because I do like it. For me, something that I would appreciate or like, excuse me, more so, is if I'm not a big fan of the plastic knob. I know that there will be a day that I will accidentally drop it and hope that I don't break my knob. But that's one of the things I'm concerned about. And anyway, they do at Bull Goose, they do have I think they got both the short and the long handled one. I look more at the shorter handle at times, but anyhow, the knob is metal, and there's what they call bling. So in between, in other words, the indentions there, the concave areas right there, will have a little crystal there, and then there's going to be one right there for the dot. And for me, I really would like those numbers painted. Anyway, that's just me. Something I think maybe one day, as it goes for painting all that, I think I will one day try my hand at it just to see if I can get to where I like it. Get old eyes. In other words, sometimes it's, looking through my bifocals trying to look at them. Plus, it's in the morning. My eyes might be a little bit blurry and so on and so forth. In other words, still trying to wake up. Just little things like that to me make a world of difference. But thought I would share that. If you're not looking at Pasture Pharmacy on their sale tab there on their website, you probably might want to go look for it on a regular basis, because I think when I ordered mine, that might have been the last one. I know it said in stock, it only says one. And I was in a panic and hoped that I clicked on it and got it bought before somebody else beat me to it. Because at that price, I don't know that you will find it at that price, even on a buy-sell. The ones that I've ever seen usually are further north price-wise, but just a fantastic buy. And anyway, just really excited to have it. I have been looking towards doing this sort of shave for quite some time. I mean, been waiting a long time to pick up this one here, and it just fell on my lap, if you will. I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning. I used the Preshave oil. This one here is sweet orange. It does come in grapefruit also to work right onto the scent profile, if you will, if you're looking to do something like that. I think there's like 8 or 9 different flavors, and one of them is unscented if you're interested in looking at one of those. Not too terribly expensive, run about $8.95. And for me, certain times of the year, Preshave oil works better for me than the Preshave soap, and that what my skin would need, I guess you might say. Go ahead and get started here. But yeah, you talk about excitement. When I landed this, it was just awesome. Oh, and they still may have some other Merkur shavers that are not in the box, running about $15.99. I did pick up one. I think I need to wet my face. That has a tendency to happen. I lose track of where I'm at because I'm kind of excited about the shave, because I haven't used the razor yet. $15.99 for some Merkur products. I did get one more shaver at $15.99. It was not only did I not have one with the handle, but also the color, and it was inexpensive at $15.99. I decided to go ahead and spring for it, even though it's got probably the same head that's kind of typical on a Merkur product. That handle and whatnot at that price, I thought it was pretty cool. It's got a red handle. I think the model was 38C, if that matters to anybody. Keeping up with all the model numbers can be quite a chore. It's just like, I think there is an actual model number in between the long handle and the short handle. I couldn't tell you what it is. I can't keep up with all the numbers. I did try to write some of them down, but I think most people will identify the Merkur Progress with the short handle, long handle. Now, as it goes in between the two, in between the Progress and the Variant, the reason why I prefer the Variant, if I was just looking to buy and I never had bought before, bought either one of them, I like the Variant because it doesn't have a plastic knob, and the everyday price is right around $58, $57.99 or something like that. So in other words, it's cheaper than the Merkur Progress, but outside of that, you might pick at the knurling on the Progress handle versus on the Variant handle. In other words, you might like one more so than the other. Past all that, that, in other words, my experience in between the short handle and long handle, they shave basically the same. I don't really notice a big difference, and that's just me. You might be much different. Um, but anyway, that's the reason why I picked the variant over the Progress. Outside of that, uh, I do like the color. In other words, the chrome, the shiny. Uh, I don't find, because the way I hold the razor, especially like the short handle, I usually put my little finger underneath the knob, so it helps with the control and of course keeping it in my hand. So I don't really notice, in other words, with the grooves going this direction, in other words, do they provide enough grippiness or not? I don't really notice it one way or the other, maybe just a little slippery versus the Progress, but I mean the variant. Get these names screwed up. But anyway, going with setting 5 this morning. And if you're wondering, I didn't buy a 100 pack of the 7 o'clock. I just got the one package, one tuck, if you will. And I'm sure it will get more than 1 or 2 shaves per blade. It's just, that's just how I seem to work them a lot of times, especially if I'm just trying them out. Don't find myself eager to find a 100 pack of them, usually because of the price, not because how they shave. They shave just fine. Yes, at setting 5, it's got just enough blade peel to let you know that it's there, but still relatively smooth. Now, off camera, yesterday, I used the Merkur, I forgot what the model number is. Anyhow, sometimes it's referred to as, what, 1904, 1907 or something like that. Anyhow, it's open comb. It's got the shorter handle. And I was using a cloud blade. I think it's blue, and can't remember exactly what the name of that blade is. But anyhow, even with that shaver, you could shave. For me, I could shave with the blade. I could shave with it, but I found myself wanting a different blade. The blade feel was there, but it just a touch tuggy. And it probably just depends on your beard type, and I think that has a lot to do with some of these blades, that the thicker diameter of your whiskers, you know, some of these blades may not work as well as some others. Depends on how, mine's a little on the thick side diameter wise. And as goes for growth, the closer I get to the chin, the tuggier it gets. So that's, just my experience. I don't find that those are blades that are going to be ones I'm interested in buying a 100 pack of. I've got others that are basically same price and maybe even cheaper, that gives me just a much better, smoother shave. Grapefruit's what I'm picking up. I don't even smell the menthol. I mean, it's just a slight cooling effect. It's not, like I say, not over the top. So if you're wondering the difference in between a glacial and a one that just says menthol, there is a difference in between them. At least for me it is. If you're pretty sensitive to it, so menthol might, it might be quite a bit different. When it comes to adjustables, I find myself picking whatever number I want for the day, and I use that setting throughout the shave. That's just me. I typically don't adjust it throughout the shave unless that's the purpose of the video, just so I can speak to it. But usually if I want a milder shave, I'll choose a lower number. Now these two, the variant and the Progress, is set up in such a way that if you wanted to go past the 5.5, in other words, you can do it. You just need to pay attention to how things are fitting on the top, because they're two-piece designs, and so you don't want to get it past those threads. And I don't know, I don't think I've ever pushed it past the 5.5 mark to find out if there's any blade chatter. Something to look out for if you're going to be a little bit more adventurous and go to a higher level. I've heard of folks doing it. For me, I don't find myself having a strong desire to do such a thing. That's just me. In other words, if I'm looking for a lot of blade feel, I can go to a Shavette or a straight razor. I do have some DEs though that rival that blade feel. Matter of fact, one in particular, a Yaki Slant, it's got a lot of blade feel. It feels very aggressive. There are some others that are out there that have a lot of blade feel that feel somewhat aggressive. I really do enjoy the soap base, the Stirling. I don't think I can mention it enough. It feels really good on my face. Slickness, easy to lather up for me. If you find yourself in a hurry, on most cases, whipping up a lather and don't have a whole lot of patience working one up, might check out some shaving cream. I have found that shaving cream is easy to whip up, not a whole lot of effort, quick and easy. The only thing I would point out is make sure you pay attention to your water in your brush. I would start with, I'd squeeze most of the water out of your brush and go from there till you dial in how much water is needed, and you can whip up a cream pretty quick. But for me, it doesn't take me very long to whip up a lather with Stirling, or even, take your pick, even with Williams. Williams doesn't take me that long either. I've got used to it. I've used them enough times. I have found that some brush knots will work better than others. In other words, when you're looking at synthetic versus boar, in other words, natural knots, horsehair, badger, they do seem to, time-wise, take, different times to whip it up. The Williams mug soap. It's just whatever you're comfortable using. In other words, I've used synthetic to whip up Williams and I don't have a problem with it. Whips up just fine. With a boar knot, it does whip up differently. And that's what I started with, was a boar, so you can go either way. The boar does have a tendency to dig into the soap, especially if you don't spare the hot water, let the puck soak for a moment. It lathers up pretty nice. I think the part of the trick is to not spare the hot water, give it a moment to soak. And it doesn't have to soak for a real long time. At least I don't let it soak for a real long time. It's just through the course of my normal routine, getting prepared, put the hot water into the little container, like mug, just enough to cover the puck, go through my normal preparation and routine and whatnot, getting everything set up, whip it all up, and next thing you know, it's ready to go in no time at all. Not a whole lot of effort, in my opinion. Like I say, it has to do with the soaking of the water. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Stirling. This one here is the unscented but mentholated. Have to say, though, that this particular case, in my opinion, this is where I really do notice the menthol level is in the witch hazel. If you're sensitive to it, you might want to opt to get one that's not mentholated and get some frost drops and adjust it accordingly if you're interested in it. But for me, this is definitely a cooling feeling. That effect is pretty evident. It takes no time at all for me to feel it. And this time of the year, being the summer, and here it's been raining like, gosh, I don't know, 7 days straight. It's just like monsoon season. It just keeps on raining, which is a little unusual here in Oklahoma, because usually it's very little rain, drought type stuff most of the time. But this one here, this year, like I said, we have rain consistently, maybe 7 days straight, maybe it's 6, but anyhow, the humidity is definitely up there. Temperature's not been too bad. In other words, low 70s, mid 70s, but with that humidity, it's sticky, gooey. Yeah, it's not exactly pleasant if you're used to the drier weather. Not that the around here the humidity is a bit higher than what it is in the southwestern part of Oklahoma. Menthol. Have to say the aftershave. Last time I remember using, I do pick up the menthol in this aftershave. But in other words, in the way of cooling, I don't really smell it, at least per my nose. I smell the grapefruit. It's such a great thing to smell in the morning. You ever cut open a fresh grapefruit? In other words, you can smell it. It just like an orange. In other words, you can just pick up that scent. It's just kind of a great feeling in the morning. Excite the senses. I had a great shave. I don't remember Merkur Bull Goose. How much more does the knob weigh on the short handle versus one with the plastic handle? Plastic handle, short handle, 3.2 ounces. And then if you get one with the metal knob on it, get that straight. Plastic knob, 3.2 ounces. One with a metal knob, 3.6 ounces. So it does add just a little bit of weight to it. Can't remember if I mentioned that or not. Anyway, take up any more of your time. I had a great shave this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and stay healthy, and smooth shaves to you.